Ladies and gentlemen, my name, as you may or may not know, is TheKinformant. I am here to talk about the new bi-weekly update, the one that we have for October 12th, and to cover that. And if you are a loyal viewer of the show, you can see it looks better. Yeah, I know, I got the fancy little mic, I've got lights up, I've got a green screen backdrop, so I don't really have any use for the green screen type of stuff right now, but in the future, hopefully, it'll be able to be utilized. But for now, for today, we are just going to be talking about the bi-weekly update posted by Yoel on the subreddit. So let's dive right into it. First, we have the developer platform team, which shared yesterday the article entitled The Ins and Outs of Next Week's Demo Day, talking about how that is all going to kind of work out, talking about how it will not be live streamed, but the Kin Foundation team will be live tweeting it to discuss it. The developer platform team is leading up the developer program. They're kind of at the head, and that is really what they have been focusing on for the past couple weeks, getting ready for this Monday when the developer program comes to fruition. They have set up a production environment where the developers' products will actually be put into operation for the uses of the future app's users. Up until now, the apps were kind of played around with in the testing environment, but now they have an actual production environment, which means it's time to implement the dev program SDK and get approved for the Play Store and the iOS Store and whatever else, those are the only ones. So, the team has fixed the dev program SDK, which is basically the ecosystem's SDK, but is different from the Kin SDK. The SDK is a service that will include out-of-the-box earnings, wallet management tools, and UI experiences. What this means is that when apps go live, the UI will look the same generally across the apps, along with the earn experiences also looking the same. Which means for us as a whole that the market is coming and taking shape, and the multiple apps that will be using the Kin developer SDK, the dev program SDK, there we go, they will all look alike. So the marketplace shouldn't be too different from app to app. It will all look very similar. They also wanted to note that on a daily basis, the development team is solving around 15 to 20 support requests by developers in the program every day. So that is really to show that they have been working on this nonstop and putting a lot of effort into this project. Other than that, the team's main responsibility is the Kin SDK. They wanted to explain the difference between the Kin SDK and the ecosystem SDK. So the first one, the Kin SDK, is self-served and for the use of indie developers. The ecosystem SDK is used for what they've called design partners. Those are the bigger ones, such as Kik or Perfect 365, and those include out-of-the-box earn opportunities. The team has finalized the Kin SDK that runs on iOS, Android, and Python. They've added different functionalities like transaction histories and coloring, which is the ability to mark your transactions for every individual app. They are also working on both backup and restore functionalities for iOS and Android, and looking at the possibility of bug bounties and hackathons, but they wanted to say it's a little bit early to release any details on these and to make any concrete plans. The ecosystem team is the one building the ecosystem SDK to be used by design partners. They're also developing backup and restore functions, following a requirement coming from Kik. They're in the tech design phase of it all. Before writing the code for a specific program, they need to break down the tasks for each of these. And these tasks include that the team has defined the product feature based on the partner's needs. They have worked out the user story, including the UI and design. They are done with the customer insights phase that helps honing the user story based on usability testing. It's a mouthful. So they are now in the tech design phase, breaking down the work needed for this feature to bring it to iOS, Android servers, etc. They're also in the tech design phase on two new features that were brought up often by community members. Those features being the need to support multiple devices per account and supporting multiple accounts per device. That way, if someone were to log in, if they primarily used Kinit or any of the upcoming apps on their iPhone and wanted to also earn on their iPad, they would be able to see that same balance and spend it there. Now, a big part of the ecosystem team's work is going to the partners aspects of things. There's a lot of research going on for relevant partners, specific features that the partners may need, and ways of working with different partners. In the upcoming weeks, they'll start talking about the research team working closely with the ecosystem teams and they're going to lay out the work being done backstage with design partners in preparation for them joining the Kin ecosystem, which makes it very clear it definitely sounds like to me, there are other partners that they are working on bringing into the ecosystem and seeing what they can do best for those partners. A note about Perfect 365, they've opened their services up now to users in 27 different countries, but only in English, meaning that this app is used in its English version in 27 different countries, which is a lot. And next month, they will be opening the opportunity for these earn and spend opportunities to be used in Brazil, where they will be in Portuguese. So the first time that Kin will be available in a non-English language. And they said that they are working on preparing relevant offers for the European market and translating Kin into the native languages of that area, be it German, French, Spanish, etc. Those are just languages. They also said that the app will be released in Brazil and Europe only in Android, but in parallel they're also working on iOS experiences, which to me sounds like they're releasing it on Android with plans to do it on iOS eventually. But yeah, they also wanted to say that Brazil and Europe have no specific dates, but it's nice to know Europe, I mean, there's like millions of people there, so it would be great if they could also use Kin. As for the Kinit team, they've integrated Do Something this week. If you use the Kinit app, you saw that. Do Something is a nonprofit focused on raising awareness for different issues, getting people to sign up to vote, and general social awareness type of stuff to make a change. So the first Kinit experience that had to do directly with them was their campaign promoting voter registration that will be running through October 16th. They also said that in the future you can expect more specific tasks geared towards social activism and calls to action in the form of a pop-up window encouraging people to take an action. Right now, the biggest thing the Kinit team is working on is task logic, which will define which user gets which tasks and when. Right now, the tasks are sent based on a specific order. You can't skip the tasks that you might not like. And based on feedback that they have received from community members in the future, you may be able to skip those fashion-related tasks that you find irrelevant to you. This will lay down the foundation for user preference features so that a user will only be given tasks that they would most likely like according to whatever algorithm, AI, etc. type thing Kinit is running. So right now the blockchain team is working on creating the federation. If you don't know what that means, it's essentially, blockchains run on nodes, various different computers, so therefore it's decentralized. You need to have a certain number of those for a blockchain to be considered decentralized. So Kin is working on their decentralization of nodes. They are intending to have 7 different nodes, but they are working on it right now and are dealing with some of the considerations that come with doing so. One of which is who's going to host these nodes? Who's going to be a federation partner? They considered letting the community run one, which that was canned. Would have loved to run one, guys. I got a lot of tech experience, but whatever. So they got rid of this because they said the idea is not viable, because this is a very demanding piece of software or hardware combination, however you'd like to define it. It's very difficult. It's a very high-scale app with a lot of traffic, and you need to have a lot of expertise to be able to set this thing up and to run it very fluidly and consistently without error. So they are looking at who they're going to include in this federation of nodes, saying possibly it will be Kin's design partners, so these people like Perfect 365 and these other guys. They decided on having 7 nodes so that they could have a few extra, just in case anything were to go wrong, say a power outage were to occur. Then you'd be down to 6 nodes, which would still be decentralized and everything would be able to run smoothly. So that way they have a couple extra in the bag if necessary. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you'd like to support me, you can go leave a like, or you could subscribe, or leave a comment, or send it to your friends. And if you'd like to help support this stuff, the green screen, the fancy schmancy lights I got going on, this cool lapel mic, I've got links in the description for various crypto wallets and a little PayPal link. So if you would like to donate anything at all to me, that's incredibly kind of you. And now you have the option. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm TheKinformant. Bye.